There was a sudden explosion coming from a mountain. It's about 500 miles from our base, with flaming lights flashing through the sky. The red ash fluttered and formed a strange skull. You see, in a hurry, order your subordinates. It's the death squad that just left. Send someone to investigate. The soldiers answered clearly. Restores the appearance of being aesthetically skeptical. There is a bad feeling in my heart. This isn't Tim Modi's trap. She soon knew. Our blacksmiths can't solve it. I will give it to you. Maybe I've been plotted by her. No, we don't know the results yet. I can't be a little self-confident. Tim Mo said it might be a mess. Even the rope I left behind works. Move the scene to Yangla. The air is quite rhythmic. Blue sky, white clouds. People walking around on the street. Trade and exchange of goods. Come and see some fresh vegetables. Somewhere there are voices of admiration. Unremitting praise. It's possible to break the Kier stone. The army of the king. It's all the way to the castle of adventure. Now, Your Majesty's domain is becoming more and more. Your Majesty is really good. Robin by attracted by the ceramic vase. It's eye-catching. I sat down and asked the owner. How much is this? Frogs also opened their eyes. His eyes were astonished and he asked for a lot of things. Is the trade very good? And then Robin and the frog went on with each other's shoulders. After a market price survey, Robin looked interested in concluding a sentence. On the market of inexpensive living items. The shops that are not bad also follow suit. The shops have a form of entertainment. It's all opened. I see a lot of people buying things. Everyone has resumed production. It's all going to get better. Robin's face was a bit puzzled. If you say good, it's better. But I've heard some rumors. I think back to the story I accidentally heard yesterday on the street. The two young men whispered to each other. They say they borrow the devil's bad luck. You can win. If it's not the devil's stuff. Sao can leave on the ground such a big dent. Your Majesty Timur is a terrifying man. I find Robin worth pondering forever. The frog asked curiously. What rumors? Just returned to the palace, His Majesty Tim Modi. Then two soldiers went out to ask Han about the situation. You're back. How can you still live in the city? The frog smiled and presented His Majesty. The city has recovered very well now. The price is not to worry. There are also power stations on the street, smashing stones on your chest. Not only that, I also heard that there is a night market at night. Tim Mo is also interested. You said there was a night market. That's good. That's good. Robin is behind. Your face is bewildered. The seven gods looked at His Majesty Timothy. You come closer to Your Majesty. Tim Modi asked anxiously. Then Robin pulled out his chin and said calmly. No problem. I obtained intelligence with the same yoke. Don't worry, Your Majesty. The frog asked again. That's right. Your Majesty is worried about everyone's welfare. Why don't you go see it yourself? Robin smiled and said, It's still not about being too popular for fear of being recognized. Tim Modi replied, Being so welcome is a burden. The night falls. The whole city still glows in the bright lights. But the view is quite quiet. Maybe it's midnight. Everybody goes to bed with blankets. Tim sat down on the couch. After a tiring day at work, she reached out her shoulders and breathed a short yawn, and a long yawn said, It's very hard, but recently reclaimed many of the. The situation has stabilized. You can let everyone live well. Tim Mo stood out the window to chill. You look at the people below. then say in admiration, "This is the night market that frogs talk about." I was curious and attracted. So Tim Modi decided to disguise himself, to blend into the night market for adventure. Look at the object here. A trip she took to a jewelry store. Ceramics for the nobles. Tim Mo held up the jewel ring. Two eyes glitter, look at it. Mouth said in admiration, "That's great." She turned to look at the 8-inch vase in front of her. The mouth is also endlessly praised. This is also very sophisticated. Tim Modi stopped at a busy restaurant. People are queuing up to get in to eat. The whole shop spilled out onto the street. She looked at the name of the bar and wondered. The main snacks of the Han dynasty. Is that true? And then Tim looked straight ahead. And his face was a little sad. There is only one way to the night market. Looks like I still have more work to do. And then she goes to every big bar, every little bar. See all kinds of products in the night market. Timothy walked down a small alley. I heard some people talking about me. Stop to listen. Blue-haired girl asks purple-haired girl, "Have you heard anything?" It's about His Majesty Tim Modi. The man replied, "Right, I've heard about it." Two American women start talking about chromes and floss Timothy. She's a queen. There is no ability. He was beaten up by His Majesty. Now it suddenly becomes so powerful. That's why people say, she and the devil have a transaction. The price we pay is our lives. It's not true. Timothy is behind it. That stupid person. I can't believe people can think of anything. The two girls kept talking to each other. They curse for Tim Modi to die early. I think it's real. Fortunately, we are very respectful to God. God will protect us. She's going to die. Everyone asks the Lord. The devil will come to capture her soul. Why doesn't she go to hell? He was killed for winning without any tricks. I hear that. My heart is dark. In my heart like rage. You often think we're trying to protect people. I can't believe I thought of myself that way. I hope to die. And suddenly, Tim's got the spikes. You can feel it. There's a force attacking us from behind. Two hands with sharp nails are approaching. Tried to strangle you. The heart immediately turned around. Back behind counterattack. She screams, "Big liver. What are you going to do?" So that's Robin. His face looked bewildered and said, "Your Majesty is the one." I saw people coming out of the cave. Worry about the safety of the person behind you. Unexpected in the market lost track. His name was later found here. Robin is also disgruntled for His Majesty Tim Modi. I saw the conversation between the two of you just now. My eyes became irritated, saying no. It's not the main problem. The problem here is the two of you. It's too hard for people to work so hard every day. They dare to spread rumors behind their backs. Tim Modi puts his hand on Robin's shoulder. So that you don't move. She advised Robin to stop. Don't move. It's not that simple. Stop talking and come with me. Then Robin followed His Highness Timothy. But there's still some warmth in my heart. I was thinking, Your Majesty, what does this mean? After Timothy and Robin left, the two girls said bad things. Lord Timothy turned to look. Are they still hanging around here? Then out, they've been acting for the world. The black-haired girl said she's gone. The blonde woman asked, "Tell me, did she finally hear our words?" YSAO didn't have any reaction and left that. The blonde woman's gaze becomes violent. She continued after she left the government. We always follow. I saw her hide in there with my own eyes. You must have heard it. Looks like she's more educated than we thought. 7 failed this time. But don't worry. I will definitely punish her. Not for long. She'll go to hell too, the black-haired woman replied. We have replaced God with God. Until the family returns to the arms of God. We are certain it may have a place in the church. Timothy and Robin. Right now, it's close to the wall. Stand behind and listen to it all. Robin right now. He also understood His Majesty's calm behavior. You said they were the gods. The gods have risen again, my lord. Do I need to bring them back? His Majesty Tim Mu reassured Robin. Calm down a little. It's not that you think. It's really just a coincidence that we encountered Sao. Robin looked at Timothy and asked. Maybe not Sao. Your Highness Timothy is right. But it's not entirely true. First she kicked a pebble across the road. Tim Mo started to analyze the thinker. If I were still queen, when you were young, you were alone without any support. We were lucky to win. I will be very nervous to hear those words. They will be both angry and angry. Order to send someone to arrest. It's close to the night market, and they're making noise. The other residents came quickly. Maybe some of them have one of their own. Once the work grows, they will change white for black to win the hearts of the people. Until then, the mouth is hard to block. Catch or not catch, this arrest will make the rumor confirmed. If you don't catch them, you're glad you succeeded. Use this stealthy trick to hurt me. What that means, God has not fully risen. Just like a dog on the street looking for a chance. After listening to the analysis, His Majesty Timothy's meticulous calculation, Robin liked to expand his aesthetic knowledge. I can't see out. And then he wagged his head. It feels so unbearable to ask questions. If it is true to your word, they certainly don't stop there. Maybe there's a bigger conspiracy behind it. We can't just sit and wait. How to do it now? His Majesty Tim Modi's face became sinister. She gave a smile full of meaning. Clench your palms. His eyes were filled with determination. Do of course have to do, but not now, they assured. If they had opened. Of course, we have to do a good play. Robin's head right now, filled with images of a strong family dynasty. Robin's eyes became more resilient. He thought about what His Majesty was talking about. The zombie remembered the words of His Majesty Timothy. According to my instructions, we will arrange it down. For the next few days, stay calm and watch. Zombies look at the people walking around on the street. The next aesthetic. Suddenly, an old woman walked down the street. The holy spear in the hand said anxiously, I ask forgiveness for these children. They're just blinded by the devil. At the same time, two mothers appeared. They also carried the Holy Spirit. The boy struggled to cry, oh, oh, under the compulsion. His mother's pull said, Your mother doesn't want to go. Mother holding her son's hand sighed. Smiling awkwardly, still softly said, The boy needs to pay for his sins. Only then can you live well. Robin was walking on the street thinking. Just a few short days. The gods have penetrated deep and wide. Just as your Majesty said, there must be supporting forces in here. Next, just follow the clues. Just agree with the deputy. To move the scene to the Church of the Theologians. From inside the church, say hello. To our great Lord. I only see people. Old young boy has both kneeling theater. The man in front of him had a position in the church. A young man of those who are kneeling on the ground boldly asked the question, Master, what are you doing? The name next to reply, I heard that the propaganda has a new meaning tonight. Young man behind hand spray, said his serious face. Tim Modi is already guilty. You dare to talk. The cardinal's two thin, bony cheeks. Sitting in a chair. To speak with a kind voice. Human morality when Christmas is inherently sinful. It should have been done for a lifetime to make atonement. As we do not atone for sin, but also enchanted by Timor. The evil spirits for her in exchange for the power of evil. More than one crime. These words of the cardinal. It makes the people below very confused. Panic. How do they mess around on this shoulder now? Master. We didn't mean to. I'm not going to hell. I don't want to go to hell. Invite the spell to come down. Once again, the people lead us, Lord. Please save us. The cardinal's face was serene. Reassure the people. Of course. Of course. We don't need to be so horrified. He held up a piece of paper that said something. Then he continued, let's pretend to be noble. God knows everyone is blind. So give you a chance to do it again. Just get this atonement sheet. He will become the greatest believer of God. You can wash away the poor. After death, we can go to the world of happiness. Next life, you can have a completely pure self. Head to a good family. Foolish people who are psychologically manipulated stand up. Whoever took it also spread out his hands. Want to own a piece of paper that the God. It's called the atonement note. I looked at the paper, they said. Dear Lord, please give me a certificate of atonement. I agreed to give myself up. To give to God. The master stepped down. Give a paper to a young girl. He smiled and said, I have only one sheet in my hand. I can only give it to the person closest to me. The girl looked up at the priest. With grateful eyes. You say thank you, Cardinal. He stood up again on the high platform, two hands out loud. Your client has known your repentance. And the other brothers. Please go over there. Go find your own atonement. Pray for our sins to be forgiven. God of the world. A young man with blue hair. Looks nodded moan men. To the name of the man in the God's pleading. Please also give me a sheet. The name of the God replied. He has since been baptized by the Holy Father. Newly donated. These atonement papers, there is a great power up there. You just give all of yourself. I can stand it. He raised his index finger and shouted Rao, selling publicly what is supposed to wash away sins. 100 yuan's donation, 100 yuan's. You can get a piece of atonement paper. No quantity restriction. The master returned to the library. He smiled arrogantly and asked LV. Is our first teacher very religious? LV bowed respectfully and replied, yes, I can sell all 500 copies this time. She also gave a smile full of intrigue and said, Lord, this blessing, it's probably because the church is of great benefit. Up to 20,000 yuan's. This is a time of war. Land prices are very cheap. We can take this opportunity to accumulate a. The Lord God can answer. This is all for you. Out. There are no nobles who want to donate SAO houses. A little generous. Give them a little more paper. AI also did not refuse. The LV woman obeyed the order. I'll do it well. The master looked out the window. Then his face full of joy said, at a speed like this, God is restored as before. It's just day 1, day 2. Then a voice came from outside. Why? The master looked back, and he looked back. Then it was Lord Timothy and Robin. And a couple of soldiers stormed into Timothy with swords. Pointed straight at the cardinal. My cold eye said, I see. You will be hanged only 1 day. Only day 2. The cardinal. And the shaky master said to you, What do you want to do? We have a lot of teachers. Don't think you're leading these people. They can catch us. The woman hastily hid behind the shadow of the cardinal's back. Take advice to stop. Your Majesty Tim Modi advises you not to mess around. It's not good for AI to grow jobs. His Majesty Tim Mo gave a mocking smile and said, You don't have to think we're leading Theo. There are people like this. The zombie looked at His Majesty Tim Modi with proud eyes. He said that the fight must be no mistake. The LV woman looks outside the church. Then I panicked and asked the professor, Since when did so many people appear outside? The priest looked up at the roof of the church. I saw the soldiers, so it's freezing in a sweat. On top of that, there is also a bottle. His Majesty Tim Mo laughed and admitted, No, Sai here is surrounded by us. Then the soldiers came over and tied up their hands and feet. These two guys. Lady LV wrinkled your face and said it hurts to death. Take it easy, Jujio. Think about how to go. The teacher god shouted angrily. LV, shut up. That's it. Both of them got down on their knees in front of Tim Modi. Robin looked very excited. The number of people present in the church. Everyone here doesn't miss an AI. A total of 1 teacher, 16 apostles and 2,362 popes. Tim Mo spoke very well. She approached the teacher with a cold face. You are the teacher. LV woman is still old, speaking words of the church. Sell your soul to the devil. What do you want? The 2 young teachers looked anxiously at the teacher. The sap owner was removed. Dano said that woman. You don't want to mess with your boss. White young people only know how to pray earnestly. Don't worry, master. Tim Mothi swung his sword high and caught it. Hold the sword in your hand. Your eyes are about to stare at the teacher. She smiled coldly and praised the teacher. You don't do bad. You can fool so many people. The teacher calmly replied, Compared to your Majesty's powerful tricks, I'm still far behind. Then she gave the teacher a fatal blow. The wind and the catechism cry all their tears. They're screaming so pathetically, cursing at His Majesty Timothy. The devil is cursed. You must not die peacefully. God, please save me. Actually, it's just a play that Tim Mo has made up. She used a knife to cut off the chain in Master Cho's hand. Tim asked the cardinal. People don't know how light they are right now. Who doesn't know? The master replied, Thank you, Your Majesty, I am not wrong. His Majesty Tim Mo continued with a smile. At first, the intelligence people said, Persuade the high level of a power, the remaining gods. They said the mission was over. Go immediately without hesitation. The master replied with a smile that there was an emergency. I'm still worried that Your Majesty feels I'm 7. Do you blame me anymore? Tim Mo immediately said. Why is that? I thank you for not being in time. If no one gathers them here. Love can't end completely like that. The wind and the wind. From one surprise to another. They look extremely confused. They looked at each other and asked each other, What is it? Master also followed the evil ghost Sao. LV also suffered a spectacular trick. She panicked and questioned the master. You are one of the chosen teachers. You can follow that woman. You're not the most religious Sao. The teacher told LV to everyone. No, I was the most religious. But since the master and His Majesty fought, adventure to join the army. Countless sick people died, hungry killed in combat. If God really exists, why didn't it show up? Because in this world, There is basically no God. We believe in God. Only those who want to protect their interests. It's a fiction. It's like a 100 silver bill of atonement. It's because of the prices, because of the wealth. It's fiction. A wind that shed tears. I can't believe this truth. He gave evidence. It's impossible. My disease. It is clearly the holy water of the great man. The teacher sighed. Holy See Emperor added to the studied drug, making Ra of the Han dynasty. Of course, it can be treated. His Majesty Tim Mo came to pat the teacher on the shoulder, smiling and saying, "Don't he talk to them anymore. You've been working hard too. Go down and rest first. The rest is for us to deal with." The teacher replied modestly, "Thank you for your interest. Thanks to you." He said he turned and left. His Majesty Tim Modi gave orders to Robin. "Let our spies be planted in Ra's rack, so they can go to rest." The rest of them were sent to prison. Each person distinguishes. We have to make clear their identity. Then abide by the rules. Robin obeyed. "Yes, Your Highness. You are calling Robin the Great CA. Wait for me with me. Also go. I am amazed at Your Majesty's ways. Your Highness Tim Modi can think of this. Completely solve this. It's so bad. The Gila recipe must also be admired. It's not entirely my work. Your Majesty thought of this early." She remembered the book that the people gave her. Your right to be generous. This is for you. Family, it's been ruled by God for a long time. In the Kai aspect of religious governance, it definitely takes a lot of work. Tim Mo asked again what this was. Tim Mo smiled with satisfaction. "Proud to praise Your Majesty. The fuel is like God. People deserve to like moss. I smell the love here." He immediately asked His Majesty how he liked you. To move the scene to the capital city of Chong'an, Liu Fong is sitting on the main document aesthetic. Then an orange sneezes, unstoppable. Shoot all the saliva out. You said, "Who's scolding me?" Mina is in a hurry. Maybe I missed that person. Suddenly, the servant panicked, running into a confused face announcing the pedestal. Prince Nemo of the Toyota Empire. Visiting them without an appointment. We're going to invite them to leave, but they're carrying too much stuff. Save the wind. There's plenty of time for them to get in. We're still half an hour away. That's enough time. Prince Nemo and the deer sat in the living room. Nicola brought tea to the reception and bowed his head respectfully and said, "Please use." Prince Nemo was in a hurry to ask. "You're Nicola, Master Sao, and you open a deli." "We like it very much," Nicola humbly complimented me. The prince now looked stern, and then politely "Save Your Majesty. I'm very sorry that we've been in Schengen for so long. I can come to see you now." Liu Feng replied with a smile, "I know you two are very busy. But two people today, there's nothing wrong with bringing so many offerings. Put your hands on your chest and explain why. We're going home to thank you for your care in the past time. That two people, we've also brought you a lot of trouble. So we'd like to give you a little Buddha ceremony. Thank you for the name." Prince Nemo continued. "These are all Tazilla's specialties. Cannot be compared with the Han dynasty's trade. It's not very sophisticated." Your Majesty grinned wryly, she replied. "Is that what it is? Thank you both. This is the work of two princes. It gave me a different view of them. These two people, unless it was a little annoying at first, there's a little subtlety missing. People are actually very good. Let's call Nicola. Nicola wine history not just led to new wine SAO. Get a barrel here, Nicola replied excitedly. Yes, your majesty, continue to talk. Conversation with two princes of the kingdom of Toyala. I heard you both like wine. You two give a lot of things like this. See this as a gift. This is spring wine. We've just been working on our raw. It's not on the shelves yet, but we drank it. It didn't taste bad. The two princes' eyes lit up. Look at the bottles of wine in the cask. But the whole basket. They can't help but thank Lord Feng. You are a good man. We know we like wine. He also gave us a new research wine. His Majesty Ra's preparation was based only on this cask of wine. You are our great CA. Shyness to say no to that. The two princes replied in unison. Your words are right. CA Lu Feng continued. Do you have anything else to do? We have to go out in a minute. The dear prince replied. No, we're going back here. The two princes excitedly carried the barrel of wine away. Nemo's face couldn't hide its joy. He said, let's have a drink. The deer sighed and said no. Has not left the government of the great CA tore up gifts. Not suitable. Should I buy a dress? Now accelerate your steps. Just go and say, like we could take to the pub next door for a drink. So Let Go smiling happily replied. Yes, you can also share it with friends. Ellie and Mina watched. Two princes are walking down the street. Ellie sighed and said, these two people really don't fit in. A prince in my eyes at all. Mina also spoke up. You said they looked stupid. Is that okay? Ellie looked back at His Majesty and asked. That's right, young master. Let them carry the goods. Like really letting them take away so many blacksmiths. Your Majesty replied yes. Doesn't capture any key techniques anyway. They're really two kids. But look at them. It helps us to think in a new way about the family's discharge. Move the scene to the Air Defense Department. The young male in the Cuckoo tribe. Practice swordsmanship. Press take wing alarm situation with power downstream wind. Mina teaches people very useful fighting techniques. Now people are flying more and more flexibly. And the friction phase with the new spacecraft is also very good. With a calm expression on my face, I am assured. The task this time is simple. Except for some rescue missions. The most important thing is to burn the food. But here are some tactics to watch out for. Ellie and Mina will be more specific. Ellie spoke up. It takes a combination of maps to tell it. Let's go to the break room. Here the first task that saved me. Forced to grieve 7 hope to say. Just burn the salary. I thought I was on the front lines for the first time. It can be closed. Paper muscle saver step to talk more with squeezing grab. Why is it just like that? I still have an important mission to give you. I heard that. My eyes lit up. Hurry to ask what task, young man. I will definitely complete the task. Absolutely do not ignore your expectations. Uncle Feng smiled wryly and said, okay. First listen to what the mission is. Ready to listen to the task that you speak of. Okay, so what's the mission? 2 eyes save cold weathering reply kidnapping. In the Air Force of Chang'an. To force the rope in the form of banditry. Press the wire very skillfully ask, does the young master who wants to kidnap AI need to capture him alive? To like guests or assassinate? Let me make sure the mission is completed. Laughing helplessly thought, can your head be normal? You told me you wanted to get this mission. I need to pass the test. If our goal is to lead behind the enemy, have very strict protection and vigilance, how would you arrange a death squad to complete the task? Give me 10 minutes to think it through. This mission is yours. Press the rope. Excitedly raised the hand can be answered, no problem. Now everyone's in training school. I will definitely make it. A moment later, press the rope back to the master report. I've chosen. Surprised, he asked me if I was sure. The time has not yet come. She nodded in confirmation. Then I answered Gilson and Nancy. It's not the strongest, though. Strength is the best on the team. It's completely possible to catch people without letting the AI know. Billet be very good at spying having her. It doesn't matter when you sneak in or when you're about to retreat. They all have the ability to see direction, the enemy's movements. The fourth liver. Liver categories are above average ability. It's like nothing is good, but everything knows. In action, no matter where the problem is, he can be quickly replaced. The last one is you. Small body. Agile speed is also very good at hiding. Want to catch the target? One noise, of course. Give him a pill. Leave this to me. She looked up and asked 5 people. And then I say 5 people is enough. Too many people are easy to spot. How do you feel? Save the wind side. You're giving me a little headache. Pressed the wire to listen so anxiously, asked the young master. Headache. I don't fit the SAO. Save Feng laughed, hugging her waist. Praise. It's a headache because you're so good. Congratulations on the gift check. Get the recognition. Happy to hug you and shout. Thank you, young master. Reward. So finally, we need to kidnap AI. Speak quickly. Whispered quietly into her hand. You need to kidnap someone I've never met before, but you've probably heard of. The title of Fabro Grand Prince Eddie. On the other hand, at the Golden Gate, Prince Eddie squeezed his leg in a chair. High voice request. What are you saying? Louder. I can't hear you. He bowed his head to pray. Please send reinforcements, Your Majesty. Eddie gave his hands to pry ears, deliberately pretending to be stupid. I heard you this time. But I don't understand why. Anish-san is finally asking for my help. Or my beloved sister. Are you asking for my help? Anish-san replied. The devil is asking for your help. His Majesty's side showed no sign. I didn't even see the letter. I heard that. Prince Edium laughed sarcastically. This is my sister. Consistently collected people beat Cho by the leaves. I don't have the courage to be arrogant. Pray that others don't know how. Send a little deacon. Open your mouth and ask me to leave. It's hard to hear him say that. Is great correction. Don't get me wrong, Your Majesty. Your Majesty is not proud of my request now. It's because I'm too worried about Your Majesty. Just decide for yourself. I feel like he needs your help. Prince Eddie laughed coldly. The pressure around him dropped. He said he didn't misunderstand. I also know she needs my help. I'm very honored, but you want my help. Let's call her in person. Please understand. Full of anger in my heart. But I still have to try to get down. Thank you, Your Majesty, for reminding me to inform you. The prince returned to his normal face. You're welcome. There's nothing else to do. When the darkness leaves, An and Sun asked His Majesty that day anxiously. It's no problem. Eddie laughed confidently and said there might be a problem. It's time to pray for us. She knows how to relax. After receiving the news of the Black Deacon, it would be like a dog losing its owner. That's right, regulating the military these days. Even though SAO is about to go to the battlefield. Anna's son said with a sigh. Your Majesty is still very interested in your Majesty. Eddie gets hit by a black heart and fights back.